Welcome back to Jane's Stories of Life. Today I want to talk about what I'm calling the colors of Christmas. We normally think of Christmas as the green, the red, and today I'm adding the color blue. And I'll explain that as we go along because Christmas has many different meanings to many different people. And it isn't always a time when everyone is feeling jolly and happy and wonderful because of the season. Sometimes there's a certain feeling kind of blue, a little depressed perhaps, a little down. And so I've included blue as one of the colors today that I think of is often felt during this season. I'm going to start first with green. Green, of course, represents life in many ways. We see the greenery of the trees. We know that things are alive and well when we have plants that are green and looking luscious. So we think of the holly and the Christmas trees, the different trees. And I have a story about Christmas trees, of course, to share. I'm asthmatic, have been all of my life. And as many of you know, my dad died when I was young, when I was 6. It was just my mom and I most of those years. We never had a car. She never learned to drive. And so we always had an artificial tree. Back in the day, I mean, they were pitiful. Some of you may remember when the aluminum trees came out. Boy, that was the hottest thing since sliced bread. The silver, and if you were lucky, you had the little wheel that had the different colored lights that changed. And I mean, that was all that, you know? And then we went to the trees where you had to stick the branches in each time and so forth. And then you pulled them apart and put them in the box. Well, when Morgan and I married in 1968, our first Christmas, we had a live tree. The tree was so crooked, we had to use wire it to something to make it look straight. I had the most severe asthmatic attack I had ever had in my life one night. We went to the emergency room. The doctor, had breathing treatments, nebulizer, whatever other medications they gave. And as the doctor tried to figure out what it was that had triggered this attack, I guess he asked or we mentioned the Christmas tree. Well, he said that, and I mentioned I'd never had a tree before. I did know that if I helped with making wreaths or things in various locations, anytime I touched pine needles, I would break out in welts wherever the needles touched me. I didn't make that connection at the time. Well, what he explained was that if you have a live tree in a warm house, a tree has been outside, it has gathered pollen, it has gathered dust, and of course, those are the kinds of things that I was allergic to. So he said to Morgan, do you have someplace she can go? Take her to her mother's. You go back to your apartment, get rid of the tree and everything about it. And that's what we ended up doing. I ended up spending that night and maybe a little longer at my mom's because that is what triggered that attack. So Christmas trees, as beautiful as they are, live trees are not something that I've ever had since. I don't put up a tree anymore. When the children were growing up, they loved doing the tree. And when they were in college, I always waited for them to come home to do the tree. I just simply don't do a tree anymore. But on the cruise, I took pictures of trees. I love the decorations of Christmas. I just don't do them. So, but those are the things I think of with the green of Christmas. The red, of course, is such a festive color. There's so much red. The holly berries, the red and white candy canes, and of course, there's dear old Santa in his red and the bells and all of the things that are just lively and beautiful. And of course, I love red. I mean, how could a Delta not love red? But anyway, so red is a color that is significant at Christmas. I'm just thinking about all the things. I would love decorations. I used to always make a lot of decorations because I love crafts and, making ornaments and banners and things for our house. We always had lots and lots of Christmas decorations in the house, both growing up and then later as we married and had children, decorations, especially those that were handmade. Our Christmas tree during the children's years had things like crumpled up foil in nursery school that was an ornament, or paper plate here and there, or things with tongue depressors. I mean, our tree was decorated with many of the childhood crafts that they had made in school. I just loved all of that. Moving on to the blue, I know people who have a hard time during the holidays. Some every year, some not every year, but it depends. For many, particularly the first year when a family member has passed away, and the first year without that person being present can be a very, very difficult time. There was a time, the year that we moved to Dover, Delaware from Schenectady, New York. Our first Christmas, for whatever, John had to work. He was working in Atlanta at CNN Sports, and he worked nights. He was in production. That's a big sports time. He was not able to come home for Christmas. I think Cindy may have gone to visit somebody, maybe a boyfriend, maybe I don't know, but she wasn't there at Christmas. It was just Morgan and I. It had been kind of a tough transition for us. I put up the tree on Christmas Eve. I took it out of the box. I put the branches in. The next morning I got up, I took the branches out, put it back in the box because and at that time we had not been able to find a nursing home in Delaware for my mom. So my mom was in New York and we were in Delaware, and I was blue. That was a very low Christmas in my mood. And I say to people, I said to somebody not long ago, if you are facing the first time that you are missing someone, maybe try to do something different. Try to establish a new routine to help in some ways. Morgan died, it's been almost been 5 years now, and I have been here. I haven't done anything particular with the last few Christmases. I am going to do something special this Christmas, but other years, it's different, and you certainly want to participate and not be a down for anybody else, but that's part of it. Interesting, I'm thinking back, I think a lot about childhood, and one year when I was teaching, I had a little second grader, a little girl I was just so fond of. When we came back after Christmas vacation, she said that her Christmas had not been a good one. Her father, who was dealt with abuse, with various different things. Her father had gotten drunk and has destroyed all the packages, demolished the Christmas tree. Many children holidays can sometimes trigger a lot of different things in a lot of different households. So it's not always what we perceive and what we see on TV as the most wonderful time of the year. Of course, Christmas is about the birth of Jesus Christ. That's why we celebrate Christmas. Unfortunately, sometimes that's forgotten along the way. I'm sorry to say. It has saddened me through the years that the traditional Christmas carols have kind of been lost in many ways. As a child, I grew up in a neighborhood that was mainly Jewish, Black, different couple other national. Our music teachers were Jewish, and we learned "It Came Upon a Midnight Clear." We learned "Silent Night." All of the all the Christian all the songs based about the birth of Jesus were songs that we learned, that we sang in our Christmas programs. We respected other cultures. We didn't, I guess someone would say we were not politically correct, but we were accepting of differences. And now we seem to, I don't like the fact that children think Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman are Christmas songs. They may be about snow, they may be about the season, but we know Jesus is the reason for the season, whether you are a Christian or whether you believe what we believe as Christians. That is the origin of, that is Christmas. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox about that. But anyway, I think a lot about these things, and I've thought about these colors last night. I kept thinking, we don't always talk about the downs, the lows, and we have to accept that. And if you are going through some things like that, talk with someone, talk it over, let people know. I'm maybe not going to come to Christmas dinner this year because it's something I'm not quite ready to do. Next year, perhaps I will be. But I just wanted to share my thoughts on the colors of Christmas. I hope that everyone has a satisfactory experience, whatever that is to you. And I want you to cherish the memories of years gone by. Think of some of the things that may balance whatever you might be feeling. And cherish the memories and pass them on. Okay, bye.